today we're going to be talking about key principles, everything about key principles, what they are, why you need them, how to find them, how to negotiate it, all that good stuff, right? So that's happening today, and really looking forward to having a thorough conversation about it, because it's one of those things that I didn't really know. I was talking with someone just a couple of weeks ago, and then I realized that they didn't understand that they had to have a key principle for this. So it's like, okay, this would be a great topic to go ahead and cover in detail, because it can get overlooked, but it's definitely going to be powerful and informative for those people who are looking to take their multifamily career to the next level, looking to scale your portfolio, these key principles. So today we're going to get to the bottom of all of that. So let's see, if you are on in the chat, let's see where we got people joining in from, because I see some new faces on here that I haven't heard of. So if you could put in the chat, or if you're on the Zoom, you want to just unmute yourself real quick. I want to see where we got folks coming in. I know Northern Virginia is coming in strong, but on some of the new ones, trying to figure out what we got here. Just like hearing or seeing or both about where folks in the world are coming from, to see if this word is getting out and we're spreading that. So let me not do this. Okay, we got Maryland coming in there, El Paso, Texas. Kathy, long time no here. Kathy and I just got off the phone like about 3 minutes before this started. Portland, Oregon. Okay, I did not know that, Bo. Got it from last time. El Paso, Texas, New York. Good deal. So thank you all for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get right to it. So if you are not aware of who I am, the name is Jason Stubblefield. I've been investing in apartment complexes since 2016. I'll get it started in this meeting how I always do, which is just bring you over into SNS Capital Partners. And people may be like, Jason, who the hell are you? Why should I even listen to what you got to say? And that's right. All right, you're right to have those questions. But if you go to snscapitalpartners.com, that's like Sam, Nancy, Sam, capitalpartners.com, you will be able to read a little bit about our company, see what it is that we do, see some of our investments, some of our client testimonials, and just overall learn about me and my company. If you are interested in hearing about some of our investments, right, we have some pretty exciting investments that are on the horizon, some that are coming up. And so if you're not hearing about those and you want to hear about our investments, then you go right over here to the Invest tab. And that was weird. But if you go over to the Invest tab, you'll be brought to this screen. You click Join Now. There's a brief questions for you to fill out. That puts you on the radar. So now we'll have a conversation. Know that you're interested in investing. We try to see if what we have or what we're offering as an investment is something that works for you. If so, then you'll hear about our opportunities. You get a chance to check it out, see if it's something that you are interested in, if it works. And if it works, then it works. If it doesn't, then more than welcome to move on, and maybe we'll have something else for you in the future. So with that being said and done, let's go ahead and dig into it today. So today we're going to talk about key principles. So first of all, what is a key principle? All right. And so let's just go ahead and define this for our discussion today. A key principle is someone who is going to help you qualify on a loan. So if you're anything like how I was, you're not starting off with a lot of money and you're trying to go purchase apartment complexes, what you'll find is that the amount of purchase price that you're looking for is going to far exceed what you may have purchased previously. So you don't have any experience as far as being a person who qualifies for $10 million loans or $5 million loans. And so what banks want is sort of an insurance policy on the people who they loan money to. So if they're going to loan out $10 million of bank money, they want to see that the person they're making that loan to has either purchased properties like this before, that they have some sort of financial capability to be able to repay the cost if things were to go wrong. And so they look for a key principal. Now, if that is you, great. But if it's not you, then one of the first things you need to do as you're building together your multifamily team is to find out who is your key principal. And so what banks will look for is net worth, and liquidity, right? And so how that works is they want to see a net worth that is usually equal to the purchase price. So if you are buying a $10 million piece of real estate, then they want to see your net worth when you total up all of your assets, all of your cash on hand, right? They want to see a number around $10 million. And also they have liquidity. So liquidity may work where they want to see, I've seen this vary from times. And if there's any lenders on the line that want to chime in here, feel free to do so. But what they want to see in liquidity is usually going to be about 10% of the loan value, or some banks may do it where it's 8 to 12 months of mortgage payments. And so that's the bank's insurance policy from doing this loan. So they can say, if something goes wrong, we know that the investment team has the ability to cover 6 months, 8 months, a year of mortgage payments because we verified that. And so another thing to note, that when you go to buy properties, you do that as a team and you qualify as a team. So it doesn't necessarily have to be one person that has this liquidity and net worth. It can be your whole team. So if you have a net worth of $500,000 and you've got a partner that's got $500,000, then you all combine for $1 million of net worth, right? So as you're building your team, you want to be able to find somebody who can fulfill your goal. And so this is the purpose of starting off understanding what sort of deal are you looking for? Are you looking to make a property, your first purchase, that's going to be, $800,000, 6 unit or something? Or are you trying to do $5 million first purchase? What is that going to be? Because you're going to need a key principal that can help you be able to qualify for these loans, right? And so if you say that, right, we got the key principal there. Is everybody following along? I think that's pretty straightforward. But if that's unclear, then let me know. So let's talk about what's in it for a key principal, right? Why is someone want to be a key principal? Why is somebody going to be willing to sign on a loan with you? Well, you're going to pay them. And if anyone is a high net worth individual, or you have a significant amount of cash on hand, one of the great ways, or one of the best ways that you can get into an apartment syndication is to be a key principal, right? So you can find a team that's looking to purchase property and say, I'll help you qualify for this by signing on the loan. They have one of the easiest jobs when it comes to apartment syndications, because usually what they do is they have a lot of work in the beginning, right? That's going to be bank statements, showing them life insurance policy, stock portfolio, basically giving the bank all this information when it comes to their financial strength, right? Proving to the bank that they have the financial means in order to qualify for the loan. But after that, I mean, once that's done and the ink is dry on the loan documents, your key principal isn't doing that much anymore, right? For the most part, right? All these things could change, but the key principal is a great way for you to get in, because you help someone qualify for a loan, and then you can earn capital. So how does that capital work? Well, there's multiple ways that you can structure this, right? So one you can structure is just a fee. All right. And so you say, as a person who's looking for a key principal, or a person who wants to be a key principal, here's my fee. Right. I want, I've seen anything, it varies. Let me clear this up. So it varies on the size of the property that you're purchasing. But I've seen key principals where they'll say $25,000 is what I will charge to loan you my balance sheet to qualify for a loan. Right. And it could go up from there. It may be a little bit less from there, but that's just the fee-based method of paying your key principal, right? So you tell the key principal, hey, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars. You sign with me on the loan, and we will wash our hands of it, right? We're still going to be partners throughout the lifeline of this investment. But as far as money, we're just going to do it in a base fee, right? That's one way you can structure it. Another way to structure it is through equity. And so you may find a key principal who say, I want 5% of the general partnership, or 10% of the general partnership, or 30% of the general partnership. So you can structure your deal that way, where you're giving equity into the deal to a key principal for loaning you that balance sheet. Typically, what I see is anywhere from 10% to about 25% is what a key principal would charge. And you have the ability to negotiate that as a key principal. You try to get as much as you want. As an operator, you can try to keep as much of the deal as you want. And then also there's the hybrid approach, right? And this is why you love or why I love real estate, because everything is negotiable. So you can say, I will give you $10,000 in an upfront fee, and I will also give you 5% equity into this deal in perpetuity, right? So that's a way to structure the deal, just some equity, some fee. And the good thing about it, as if you're paying that, and if you're new to this, we're like, well, how do I afford to pay somebody $25,000 or $50,000 or whatever when I don't have? This can actually be underwritten into your deal as an expense. So it's part of your closing costs. And I've seen a lot of people who would do this. They'll put in that guarantor fee, and guarantor is sort of exchangeable with key principal. They'll put in that fee into the underwriting so that they get compensated if you're raising money. Part of that capital raise could be for paying off your key principal. So this is why it's good to have these conversations way ahead of time, right? So that you are very well aware of your key principal, what you're going to have to pay them, and you can underwrite that cost into your deal so you know what you're working with. The larger the deal is, the less of a factor that fee is, especially if it's $25,000 or so. That's not going to sway a deal too much. But if you're doing a smaller deal, a $1 to $3 million deal, and you've got an extra 50 grand or 100 grand or whatever it is in key principal fees, that can sway your deal. So you want to know what that number is ahead of time. And that's why you need to talk to your key principal. So, also, we should talk about non-recourse loans and recourse loans, because that is going to be a big factor in all of this, right? A recourse loan is where the bank says, if you do not pay this loan back, we can come after your personal assets in order to pay the loan off. So that goes against you personally. Non-recourse, however, another reason that multifamily is such a great asset class, non-recourse is where the bank is stating to you that if you do not pay this loan back, it will not go against your personal credit score. And the bank said, we're securing this loan against the property. And so if it does go bad for whatever reason, then our only liability or the consequence is going to be us taking back the property, and there will be no liability to the borrower or guarantors of this property. And a lot of key principals will only be a key principal if it's non-recourse debt. And I think that's sort of self-explanatory why someone wouldn't want to sign on a bunch of loans that are going to come against them personally if they get defaulted on. But if you understand this, that you can give someone non-default debt or non-recourse debt, and you can also give them a percentage of a deal or a fee for signing on some loan documents, you understand that finding key principals is not that hard to do, right? So you can find this as one of the key pieces of your partnership team in the very beginning can be that key principle. And you just got to be willing to understand how to negotiate it, right? Understanding that window, 5 to 25% of the GP, understand what they're going to get. Hey, you can get equity in the deal. You can get a fee at the very beginning, understanding that they can sign on non-recourse loan docs and say, hey, if it does go wrong, it's not going to go against you personally. And so all those things are set up very well for someone who wants to do this if they have a balance sheet that will accompany you. So with that being said, we can sort of talk about how you can find key principles. All those things, they're probably one of the most important pieces of your investment journey, but also one of the easiest, right? Because that's a sellable deal. I mean, like I'll do that. I'll take that deal, right? If it's something that I believe in, right? So places to find them, right? I could do a screen share, but I won't even bother to do that because this is fairly simple, right? First of all, it's just people you know. If you are in a multifamily club, multifamily scenario, there very well may be a key principle or potential key principle on this call right now, right? So you can reach out to various people, say, do you know any key principles? If you're just in networks, right? Your friends, your family, if you have someone who is in your family, has a lot of money, say, hey, I have this proposal for you. I'm going to be signing on a multifamily loan. I know that you seem to be doing pretty well. You can earn a fee, you can earn equity. It's a very easy conversation for you to have. If you come from family like I do, where the majority of people are poor, then you're gonna have to look at other avenues, right? So I also like Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, right? You have these multifamily communities, very simple. You just go to Facebook, you type in multifamily, you search by groups, you join those groups, and then within there, you may not even have to pose the question. You can just do a search within the group to say, has anybody searched for the term KP or key principle? And you will find conversation threads that people have already reached out. Then you just contact those people like, hey, I'm also looking for a key principle. Would you be interested? Right. So Facebook and LinkedIn is another great way to find key principles. Conferences, right? If you are attending conferences, you'll see a lot of people there. Anyone who's closed the deal before either is a key principal or knows a key principal. So the overarching theme in all of these is just surrounding yourself with people who are doing multifamily deals, because they're going to know key principles, right? So you can attend conferences, network, ask for key principles. Another not so well-known way is through podcasts. And so there's a useful tool that I use for podcasts. There's tons of podcasts and you can subscribe to various ones, but there's a tool that I use called Castbox. That's CAST box, BOX. And this particular platform is powerful because it has search capabilities that most podcasts don't have. So if you go to maybe like iTunes, wherever you get your podcast from, and you search for a podcast, they'll usually search by the title, right? But what Castbox does is it actually penetrates within podcasts to look for specific episodes. So you can search hundreds of podcasts for the term key principle or whatever other useful knowledge that you want to know. And if you do it in Castbox, it's going to go through hundreds, if not thousands of podcasts and look for those key terms. So now you may, I've used this to find podcasts that I didn't know exist. I've used it to just follow people around, right? So if I really like what somebody else is doing, I want to see every interview that they've been on, no matter what podcast it is, I'll use Castbox to do that. So that's another one. So you could just Google the term or search for the term in Castbox called key principles. You'll find every podcast that ever existed about key principles. Hint, there's probably going to be some key principles on there or names that will be dropped, and you can use those. Other ways is just trying to find referrals, right? So property managers could be a resource for you. Have to put out a caveat that I would strongly probably discourage it, right? If your property manager is going to give you a recommendation for a key principal, yes. If your property manager is your key principal, then you may want to have some hesitations around that, because I've just heard stories around if you get into bed and marry your property manager, if for whatever reason you're not happy with their management services, it can be very challenging for you to be able to go undo that, right? So you signed up on a loan, you've got a 5-year term, a 10-year term that you all are going to be partners with, and that day that you try to say, hey, I don't like you anymore as a property management company, it's a challenging conversation to have. So use the property manager as a resource, but be careful if you're actually using them as your key principal. Another good one, though, is lenders, right? And if you're talking to lenders, you may find that those lenders they know who's closing deals. They have clients that they've closed deals with before. Some of those people are signing on multiple loans, and those lenders know that. So you can reach out to your lender and say, hey, do you know anybody who is a key principal? So a few things to note, then we're going to wrap this up, open it for questions, and get out of here. But to know, like, if you're looking at buying a 8-unit property, right, you should not go to a key principal that is signing on $50 million real estate deals and say, be my key principals. It's two separate asset classes. So the best thing you can do is decide, how's my first deal going to look, and get a clear picture of that. And once you know how that first deal is going to look, now you start looking for a key principal that would be willing to partner with you on that type of deal. So if you're looking for 8 units in, what do we have? Maryland, right? So you want to find a key principal who likes that size of property in Maryland. It's just going to be an easy sell for you. And vice versa, right? You should not try to get someone who's only been a key principal on an 8-unit deal, and now you're going to buy a 200-unit property and say, hey, will you be my key principal? My key principal is probably not going to work, right? So just take a little bit of time to think about that, and you'll find that you can form relationships that make sense, good business partnerships right at the very beginning. And so last tip is that, even though I said all of that about key principals, you might not need one. So the very first apartment deal, actually the first 2 apartment complexes that I closed, I did not have a key principal on. And both times was because I didn't even know that I needed one. Well, I think the first time I didn't know that I needed one. The second time, I just went to the bank and got lucky, I guess. So to fill in the details of that, if you are getting a agency loan, meaning you're going to Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae to get your loan product, they're going to require you to have a key principal. Oftentimes, so will bridge loan officers, right? They may want you to have a key principal. But if you're going to a portfolio lender or the small local bank, they may not have key principal requirements. So the way I was able to get loans without having a key principal is I simply talked to a loan officer and gave them everything that they needed and waited on them to respond to me with what was necessary, right? And so I definitely didn't have the liquidity or the net worth myself, but local lenders have different criteria. And so if you're talking to a loan, and if you're talking to a loan officer and you're saying, hey, I want to buy this deal, and they talk about it, they may come back to you and say, who's your team? Who are you working with? Or not. But if they don't, that's a great way for you to be able to keep more equity, to avoid fees in your loan documents. So avoid fees in your loan fees, right? Or your closing costs, right? So you can cut that down by not having that key principal expense. So what I would do is you find your loan officer and you start having conversations with them. If they don't bring up your your financial capabilities and you're doing a small deal, you may be able to get by a deal or two without having to have a key principal, which will put more money in your pocket. Once you go to Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae, larger loans, it's going to become more necessary for you to have one, but that is a way that you can get around it a little bit too. So with that, let me check the chats here. Yeah, just like vote today. That's what I plan to do once this is wrapped up. And so we're doing pretty good right now. So are there any questions about that? Key principles, right? All in, where to find them, what they do, purpose of them, how to negotiate it, all of that good stuff. Where are the questions at, if any? So I'm checking over here on Facebook. I mean, I don't know. I think it was pretty clear on my end. I understood what I was talking about. Apparently everybody else did too. So Candace says great info. Thank you, Candace. I appreciate your sentiments. Jim says good stuff. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate you as well. So all right. Well, I'm not going to linger around. I'm getting out, going to vote today. Kids are out of school. It's a beautiful Tuesday, and I'd like to thank all of you for taking time out of your Tuesday to hop in here to talk about key principles. It's the multifamily code. If you are interested in investment opportunities, you can go to snscapitalpartners.com and you can hear about those opportunities. If you are beginning in your real estate journey and you're like, hey, how do I figure all this stuff out, right? How do I even know that I need a key principal? Where do I find them at? And how do I underwrite deals? All that other stuff. Then reach out to me as well. Got something that may be a fit for you. So other than that, I am out of here. Enjoy your Tuesday. Make it a great day on purpose because you deserve it. And I'll talk with you later.